So how are you? Welcome. I'm so happy to have you guys do this. Thank you.
Thank you for having us. We are super excited to be involved in this festival, and especially because one of my friends is also in the festival.
I know. I talked to her the other day, and she said that. I was like, oh, to Jordan, and I had no idea that that you guys knew each other. And I love your film. I love the fact that you learned how to edit on YouTube. I very much did the same thing the past 2 years during COVID. I was like, I have time. I'm home. I might as well teach myself how to edit.
Now.
I know, and you're lovely. Are you safe though? Are you good?
Yes.
Okay.
We are in a red zone, so mask on. Yeah. So I was Googling like what to learn for editing. Like I was like looking on the academic like class list for Syracuse University for what the editing student, like film photography and journalism students had to take for classes, and just going off of like words that I had no idea what they mean, like splicing clips. I have no idea what that was, and just like figuring out how to do it, and like all the sound is, I give credit to anyone who actually edits. Like it's a lot to learn, but
it's a lot, but I found it very soothing because it keeps your mind so busy that like especially during the past 2 years, it's been like my go-to whenever I'm kind of freaking out. I edit because you have no time to think because it's so all encompassing, so I like that part of it. So how did you find out about the program at Syracuse, both of you? Like, how did you decide to go to Syracuse and be part of this program? I think it's a wonderful program. When did it start? Any info you have, I'd love to hear.
I'm trying to.
What made you decide to go there, I guess?
Here. My mom got a lot of money for accepted here to SU. And right now I'm a fourth year student. I'm graduated in 2022.
It's amazing how time flies.
I know, I'm seeing it this year.
it's very exciting. The program, I think, started a few years or many years before. Olivia, you started, and I started Syracuse even.
I'm doing my first year.
Yeah, so you've been in it all 4 years, correct? Right?
Yes.
Yep. And
this is my fourth year now.
I became involved in the program my sophomore year at Syracuse, just like through a class. Honestly, it was a requirement of a course, and loved the people and the connections I made in the program, so decided to stay connected. And then I joined the mentorship aspect of the program just because I felt like it was able to make me more connected to people that I already had great connections with. So it was really cool to like level up the friends I was able to build through that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The program history goes, I'm honestly not sure when it started. I do know that it has grown like a huge amount. The year before you, Olivia, there was only one student living on campus, and I think how many are living on campus?
There's
now?
a lot. And I have new residential mentors. I have Sarah this year, and yeah.
So you've been able to help the new students coming in? How does that feel? Like
really good.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And I hired them, so.
Yeah. And I mean, are you like, would you recommend it to others who are considering attending?
Yes.
Like, what would be your if you had one thing that you liked the best about it, what would be your one thing?
I don't know. I like being like on campus, hanging out with friends, hanging out with everyone. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And when you guys were filming, like, did you just start kind of filming yourself and then decide later to put it together? Like, how did the concept of the film evolve? Like, did you start thinking, hey, let's make a documentary about this?
We definitely didn't go into it planning to do anything like documentary or sharing what we were doing at all. But we did find that, like, especially during the first week, we realized that like sending videos of ourselves or even like texting voice recordings was way better for communication for us, for just like on campus, and also just like I will be honest in saying we definitely had some like separation anxiety after that first week where it was just the two of us. So then once like we started to meet new people on campus and all that, like we definitely video recording and texting videos of each other throughout the day helped us kind of stay connected in a way that was accessible to both of us. And
that's a really good idea. Yeah.
It was really cool and kind of a fun way to do it and stay like all of that. And then when the idea of the film came along, we already had all of this footage. So we just decided to like be a little more intentional about what we filmed, and make sure that we separated like what videos are just for us that we're going to send back and forth, what videos we're going to take together for memories, and what videos we'll use for the film. So kind of like having a lot of open conversations about what was for us and what was for others to see.
What I love about kind of independent film, it's like it's not as much about the tech, it's about the stories, and especially about stories that you don't see a lot of, right? And so many people are just left out of the mainstream media that we need to hear from, you know. So I'm glad you did what your film, because we need to hear more about disabled people. We need to hear more about inclusion programs. You know, all of it needs to get a lot more attention. What was your hope in kind of having people see the film? Like, what's one thing you hope they take away from watching it?
You want to go? Or me go first? You go first. I mean, I originally made it with the intention of, total honesty, of it being my senior thesis project. So I was kind of just thinking it could be shared like within the program, so maybe to support like mentors, but then also students in the Inclusive U program.
Residential mentors and friends and families and new friends on campus.
You make a good point
Because
about
I
that.
have new first years in my dorm right now,
Yeah.
You do.
and upperclassmen.
You make a good point about the dorms. The
Yeah.
dorm style living, I feel like, of inclusive living on college campus is like, unfortunately, a new thing. Like, I'm glad it exists, but it hasn't been around for long. So kind of sharing that dynamic and how things could be different, but also the same, is super important.
So what would be your advice to students maybe thinking of going into an inclusion program like yours?
It's amazing. I like it a lot.
What advice would you?
Any like hints on how to get the most out of it, or how not to be scared? You know, I was scared just going to college.
Don't be nervous or anything.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. What was that?
I have an internship class this year and this morning. I have it on Monday through Friday.
And you like it? It's going
Yes.
well?
Yeah, new subject.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything that might have, now that you've done the inclusion program in college, if you look back at, say, high school or grammar school, like any recommendations for those programs on how to do better inclusion there, you know, so that it's not so new in college, you know what I mean? Any thoughts about that?
Olivia, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like what Syracuse has done for the whole program, both mentors and mentees, is give a lot of job skills, and like, not that life skills should ever be the goal of any education program. It should be total encompassing of everything. But I feel like a lot of the high school and even grammar school programs don't prepare all people equitably with like a mindset
For anything?
anything that you can walk away with skills for a job, and those start in elementary school, and kind of having like the confidence in any person that those skills needed to be developed and start developing from an early age is super important. Olivia, you came in with a lot of great skills for life coming into college, which I feel like speaks highly of your previous education, of like what you were ready for, and you were super ready for college.
This is my 4th year, so this is my last year to do this. Graduating this year.
What are you thinking of doing next, both of you? Like, what are your
I do
plans?
not know.
I respect that. I didn't know either when I graduated what I would do next.
I
just
might get
kinda-
an apartment. My mom said I might get an apartment and live in Syracuse.
Oh, nice. Are you guys from the area? Like, where are you
I'm
from?
from Carthage. That is close to where this one is, where Syracuse. This is my home now for college now.
I'm originally from Massachusetts, and then after my graduation in 2020 from Syracuse, I'm now attending grad school in Boston and teaching in Boston.
Oh, cool. Are you also at Boston College for your graduate program?
I am. Mm-hmm.
There's
Very cool.
graduates today,
There are
like
some
graduate students, like first one or second one.
Mm-hmm.
There, I saw some of them today, and at work. This was at my work.
Mhm.
And it's not my year. And I saw some of those students.
I did too. So I saw, and that's also why I'm back on campus, is Syracuse's 2020 graduation is tomorrow. So there's lots of people walking around
Mine's
campus in
next
caps and
year.
gowns.
Wow. Oh, that's so wild.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mic up and down.
Mhm. It's a little odd, but it's happening. So
It works. So now you're not there anymore. How have you found it without Kylie there, Olivia? How has it been?
Really good.
So
I
you feel like you were
stressed.
prepared?
I did help my coworkers today because some of them were stressed, but not me.
Really?
Mhm.
What were they stressed about?
They're stressed like a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not.
So what was your
I know
preparation?
the scoop for SU, the scoop.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Because when I was a first year in Flint, 120 stairs is a lot. Now this year I don't have to climb too many stairs.
120 stairs is a lot.
It's a lot.
Upstate New York is very hilly. I remember going to Ithaca and just being like, wow, like I had no idea.
Our dorm, when we were roommates together, was at the top of a 120-step outdoor staircase. So it was
And
like
silly
a
fire
hike.
trucks and silly alarms and
Yeah.
all that. No.
Yes.
And you
Probably-
can't see when we were doing that.
Yep. Do you want to tell that story?
Oh.
Sure. There was one fire drill, which fire drills are inherently a stressful thing, especially when they happen at 2 in the
Too
morning.
noisy.
They're very noisy. But there was one time, actually several times, where I would leave and forget my glasses or contacts to the fire drill. And then it was just a very overwhelming situation, and not being able to see properly was stressful. But
Yeah, absolutely. I
that was good.
at this point I have at least 3 pairs of glasses because I always lose one, and then I know I can go back to the drawer and find the next one. As long as I haven't lost all 3 at the same time, then I'm good. But it works. So are you motivated to help kind of the new students who are coming into the
Yes.
program?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think that would be very rewarding. And I think it's helpful for them too to have your experience.
Jillian's a new one. And Queen I call Marley, she's a new one. She's Jillian's roommate. They neat. And some other ones.
Do you support them in any way or give them any advice
Yes.
when they came to campus?
Yes.
I think they're lucky to have you with your experience, having been there for 4 years.
Marley being rude, I don't want to say it again.
Yeah, it definitely, I wish it was done more everywhere and in all years. I personally feel that if elementary education was more inclusive, there would be less barriers because you wouldn't have to constantly normalize anybody's disability because it would be part of the normal community, right?
Disability, let you know.
What was that?
I'm disability.
Me too. Me too.
I don't like loud noises or
Me-
dog barking.
Same. I just bought a new pair of loop plugs because the crickets are driving me crazy. And it didn't drown them. I swear it made them louder. I may be losing my mind, but I think it made them louder. I was because like it shut out all the other noise, and then all I could hear was crickets. So the crickets are making me loopy lately. No pun intended. I guess.
With the loop.
Yeah.
Can't win them all.
Anything else you guys wanted to say to the world or our viewers, at least when they see it, about the film or about your experiences there? No, you're good.
Thank you so much for talking with us on Zoom.
Thank you. Thank you. You're the filmmakers. I'm honored to be able to speak to you about your film. That's
And I hope we can win. I hope so.
I hope so too.
To expand that, I would just like to say thank you for anyone who watches the film, talks about it, shares
I don't
it.
care who watches, I'm good with, because I have social media, my Facebook and I got my Instagram and lots of those are social media.
I follow you on Instagram.
Ah, me too. I follow them on.
So on
It's
that,
me.
I
I'm the
follow,
one doing it.
love that. Well, good to see you in person.
follow you. I
Oh.
follow you on Instagram.
Me too. I follow you. I love it.
Okay.
On that note, we definitely are open to conversations and continuing conversations about inclusive opportunities in higher education further, because we love to talk about it and share our experience and talk about things that still need to happen. So
Absolutely. I mean, I'm grateful for your film because I too want to push the conversation about that. And I want to make sure that, I'm tired of special education. It needs to be education, and we need to treat everybody equally and support them just as they need to be supported, right? Like if you need earplugs, how is that special? You know what I mean? Like just get people what they need and include them. Like end of story.
good everywhere.
Well, keep making films because we need to hear from you. So I appreciate your work very much.
Appreciate your work
I
too.
appreciate you too.
Thank
As
you.
a friend,
Yes, likewise. Please keep in touch.
we
Will do.
will.
All right, guys, take care of yourselves. Bye. Happy graduation and happy almost graduation.
Thank you.
Bye.